Changing your life doesn't always require a dramatic overhaul, a New Year's resolution, or a grand plan mapped out in perfect detail. Sometimes the most powerful transformation begins with just a few simple steps repeated consistently over time. Imagine committing to just 5 small but powerful habits each day for 30 days. No perfection required, no elaborate system to follow, just 5 intentional actions carried out daily. At first, the change may seem subtle, almost invisible, but over time, the shift becomes undeniable. These habits work not because they are flashy or complex, but because they create rhythm, structure, and clarity. They quietly rewire your thinking, reprogram your responses, and reconnect you with your deeper goals. Each habit serves a unique purpose. One may sharpen your focus, another may calm your mind, a third may energize your body or anchor you in the present. But together they act like a compass, pointing your life in a more purposeful direction. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't ask you to become someone else. Instead, it invites you to return to yourself day by day, layer by layer. You don't have to be perfect. You only need to be consistent. And in that consistency, something powerful awakens. You begin to trust yourself more. You notice the difference between reacting and responding. You become more aware of your thoughts, your choices, your daily patterns. Life no longer feels like it's happening to you. You start to feel like an active participant in your own growth. And the most surprising part, often others notice it before you do. They see your increased confidence. They hear the calm in your voice. They feel your presence when you enter a room. Committing to these 5 habits for 30 days isn't just about productivity or self-discipline. It's about reclaiming agency. It's about creating a life you don't need a vacation from. A life where your morning feels intentional, where your energy is directed, not scattered, where your mind is clear and your heart is steady. This is not a 30-day challenge to become a new person. It's a 30-day invitation to become the truest version of the person you already are. So if you're waiting for a sign to begin, let this be it. You don't need to wait for Monday or the first of the month or the next new year. All you need is today. Pick 5 habits. Keep them simple, keep them meaningful, and commit, not with pressure, but with purpose. Because real change isn't built in bursts of motivation, it's built in moments of quiet repetition. Over time, those small moments will add up, and one day you'll look back and realize that 30-day decision changed everything. Talk less, act more. Everyone wants change. Few are willing to act. Fewer still act without announcing it, because in reality, talk is seductive. It gives you the illusion of progress without any of the pain. It feeds your ego. It earns social validation. It makes you feel like you're already halfway there. But the truth is brutal. Speaking about your goals too soon can destroy them. When you share your plans before you take action, you weaken your drive. It becomes about perception rather than process, about looking motivated instead of being committed. You don't need to declare your goals to make them real. You need to do the work. Verbalizing your goals can feel satisfying. It triggers dopamine. It earns praise. It invites encouragement, but those rewards are premature. They come before you've earned anything. You begin to mistake the feeling of progress for progress itself. You build a false narrative. I'm already becoming this person, but in reality, nothing in your life has changed yet. You get stuck in the performance of growth without ever experiencing its discomfort. Why? Action beats all announcements. Words are cheap. Action is currency. When you commit silently and execute consistently, you build something words can't replace. Your fitness improves. Your mind sharpens. Your work deepens. Your income increases. Your habits evolve. Not because you told the world, but because you showed up for yourself. Every day you move in silence. You create a foundation no one can see until the results become too obvious to ignore. And those results, working in silence, does three critical things. It builds internal focus. When you're not performing for others, your energy turns inward. You do the work for the sake of mastery, not applause. You listen to your instincts, not external opinions. It protects your momentum. Early praise can kill long-term motivation. When no one knows what you're doing, there's no performance anxiety. You're free to iterate, fail, and experiment without fear of judgment. When you train yourself to act without external feedback, you become unstoppable. You stop needing validation. You start becoming the kind of person who keeps going even when no one is watching. If you're working on a goal, keep it private. Not because you're secretive, but because you're serious. Early feedback gives you false satisfaction. Hold off until the work is real, consistent, and rooted. Let people wonder where you've gone. Then let the change in your results explain everything. Instead of telling 5 people your plans, write it down for yourself. Track your consistency. Keep a silent log of your progress. Let the data become your encouragement, not other people's praise. If you're improving, don't say it. Live it. Don't tell people you're meditating. Let them feel your calm presence. Don't tell people you're learning. Let your vocabulary expand naturally. Don't say you're disciplined. Be the person who always shows up. That's how real power works, quiet and undeniable. Create a daily time block for action that no one else sees. A time when you build your future alone without input or distraction. This becomes your sacred space where your next level is crafted in solitude. What you gain by speaking less, momentum when you're not explaining, you're executing. Mental clarity, no external opinions muddy your vision. Freedom to evolve. You can pivot, experiment, fail without an audience. Deeper fulfillment, your self-worth becomes rooted in discipline, not perception. And the longer you practice this, the more powerful you become. Because your identity begins to shift. You're no longer the person who talks about changing. You're the person who changes and then lets the results do the talking. There's a time to speak, but it comes after the results. When the foundation is built, the new behavior is consistent and your life reflects your values, then you can share. And even then, do it not for applause, but to serve others. Let your journey be evidence, not performance. Let it inspire, not impress. The deeper truth. People trust what you do. The world is full of promises, full of declarations and big plans. But most of them fade. Most of them never leave the note app. Most people quit as soon as it gets boring, hard, or inconvenient. But not you, because you've chosen a different path. No announcements, just quiet, consistent, courageous action. And over time, your silence will echo louder than any post ever could. The Stoics had no patience for empty talk. They believed in embodied philosophy, that a person's values are revealed through their actions, not their words. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." This principle is at the core of Stoicism. Wisdom means little if it's not lived. Courage means nothing unless it's shown in difficult moments. Discipline is not a label, it is a repeated act. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic, wrote in Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." The Stoics knew that public display invites ego, but silent action builds integrity. They practice self-control, modesty, and resilience, not in speeches but in daily behavior. No boasting, no grand announcements, just a quiet life devoted to inner strength. So when you choose to talk less and act more, you're walking the Stoic path. You're training your soul, not your image. And in that silence, you will find clarity, purpose, and lasting power. Write down specific daily goals. A day without goals is a day dictated by randomness. It's waking up and letting your energy be pulled by emails, messages, moods, and distractions. It's handing your focus to whatever happens to arrive first. Without goals, you're not making choices, you're just responding to circumstances. This is how people stay busy but make no progress. They feel drained, yet nothing truly meaningful gets done. They're in motion but not moving forward. The solution is simple but powerful. Write down 3 to 5 clear, specific goals every single day. When you write something down, it shifts from thought to intention, from a floating desire to a defined decision. Writing your goals forces you to clarify what's actually important today, what's measurable and doable, what will move the needle. Instead of spending the day reacting to other people's agendas, you design your own. You create a map. And once you have that map, you can stop asking, what should I do now, because the path is already written. The benefits of writing daily goals. Your brain stops spinning. You know exactly what needs your energy today. With 3 to 5 items to complete, you waste less time jumping between tasks or chasing distractions. A written goal feels like a promise. You're more likely to follow through when it's on paper. Writing goals builds structure. You stop drifting and start directing. Each day becomes a small victory. Each checkmark reinforces self-trust. How to write effective daily goals. Use pen and paper. Typing is fast forgettable. Writing by hand is intentional, tactile, and creates stronger memory. Use a notebook or journal reserved just for your daily goals. Set 3 to 5 goals. This is the sweet spot. Fewer than 3, not enough structure. More than 5, overwhelm. Prioritize meaningful goals over minor errands. Make each goal clear and measurable. Work on presentation is vague. Finish slide 1 to 5 of client deck is specific and trackable. Use action verbs. Call, draft, edit, organize. Write, clean, send, record. Align with long-term purpose. Each goal should point toward your larger vision. If your long-term goal is to improve your health, your daily goal might be cook a high-protein dinner, not scroll recipes for fun. Do not renegotiate during the day. Once your list is set, follow it. No midday emotional editing. No replacing hard tasks with easier ones. You decided with a clear mind. Honor that decision. Check them off, one by one. The physical act of checking a box or crossing out a goal creates a dopamine release and builds reinforcement. Over time, this becomes addictive in a good way. Review at night. Did you complete them? If not, why? Were they unrealistic? Did you allow distractions? What can you improve tomorrow? Examples of strong daily goals. Write 600 words for blog post, 20 minutes strength workout. Review Q3 budget report. Record 1 video lesson. Call dad and check in. Meditate for 10 minutes. These goals are clear. You know exactly when they're done. They are not abstract desires. They are daily contracts with yourself. Why specificity beats ambition. Big dreams die from vagueness. I want to be healthier means nothing if you don't act today. I want to start a business means nothing if you don't make one small move today. Daily goals make your ambitions actionable. They shrink mountains into steps. They give structure to willpower. Ambition might get you excited, but specificity is what gets you moving. What happens after 30 days of writing daily goals? You'll get more done with less stress. You'll learn to prioritize what matters. You'll stop wasting energy on indecision. You'll trust yourself more because you finish what you start. You'll see real momentum in your health work and mindset. You'll no longer fear the day ahead. You'll design it. But what if I miss a day? Then pick up your pen the next day and begin again. This isn't about perfection. It's about returning to the habit. The goal isn't to avoid failure. It's to recover faster each time. Daily goals teach you that small daily decisions create massive long-term outcomes. And that's a truth most people ignore. They wait for motivation, for clarity, for the perfect moment. But those who grow the fastest don't wait. They write the goal, then do the goal, then write the next one. The Stoics believed that a wise life was one led with intention, not impulse. And they placed great value on directing one's attention and energy deliberately each day. Seneca warned, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." This is exactly what happens when we live without goals. We drift. We get pulled by emotion, urgency, and distraction. But Marcus Aurelius in Meditations wrote daily reflections, goals for his soul and mind. He would begin the day by reminding himself who he wanted to be and how he wanted to act. What do I feel like doing today? What is worth doing regardless of how I feel? That's the Stoic path. Wake up, write your goals, commit without drama, execute without ego, reflect without shame, repeat without excuses. To write goals daily is to govern yourself. To choose not chaos but clarity, not impulse but integrity. That is Stoicism in motion, measured in ink, practiced through action. Repeat one powerful habit until it becomes instinct. You don't need 20 habits. You don't need to redesign your entire life in one night. You just need one right habit done every day, without fail, until it becomes as natural as breathing. The problem for most people is not lack of desire, it's lack of consistency. They start strong, they feel motivated, they write plans, watch videos, set timers, buy journals. But when the mood fades, so does the behavior. This is where change dies, not in the lack of tools, but in the absence of repetition. Think of any great transformation, physical, mental, financial. Behind it isn't a chaotic mix of strategies. It's one simple act repeated thousands of times. One person lifts weights every day for 6 months. Suddenly their body transforms. Another writes 500 words every morning. They finish a novel in 3 months. A third meditates for 10 minutes daily. Their anxiety slowly unravels. It wasn't motivation that got them there. It was devotion. They chose one powerful habit and they showed up for it over and over until it became automatic. And this is the secret: when a habit becomes instinct, it no longer requires negotiation. You don't think about brushing your teeth. You don't ask yourself if you feel like putting on clothes. You just do it because it's who you are. That's what a repeated habit becomes. Identity, not effort. How to build an instinct through repetition. Pick one thing, only one. The more habits you stack early on, the more decisions you need to make. This drains your willpower. Start with one essential behavior, something simple, meaningful, and easy to track. Example: stretch for 10 minutes. Journal 1 page. Wake up at 6 a.m. Write down 3 gratitudes. 1 push-up. Commit for 30 days, no exceptions. Not when I feel like it. Not if I have time. Every day means every day. Your mood doesn't matter. Your schedule doesn't matter. The habit wins. Keep it stupidly simple. If your habit is journaling, leave your notebook on your pillow. If it's reading, put the book on your desk. Don't rely on memory. Design your environment to nudge you into action. Use a calendar habit app or sticky notes. Seeing your streak grow creates a psychological reward loop. You don't want to break it. This fuels momentum. Expect boredom and keep going anyway. The enemy is not hardship, it's monotony. But greatness lives in the boring. When something feels dull, it's a sign of mastery forming beneath the surface. Let the habit shape your identity. Stop saying I'm trying to journal. Start saying I'm someone who journals. That identity shift changes everything. You don't need a full routine. You need one non-negotiable ritual. When you do that one thing daily, it becomes an anchor. It grounds your day. It reminds you that you're still in control. And over time, it begins to influence the rest of your behavior. One right habit is like a keystone. It holds the entire arch of change together. What to do when you don't feel like it, do it anyway. That's it. Not because it feels good, not because you're inspired, but because you decided. And that decision isn't up for debate anymore. This is where most people quit on the hard days, the tired days, the I just want to break days. But those are the exact days when your character is shaped. If you can show up when it's inconvenient, you are already stronger than 90% of people. And here's the twist. Doing the habit when you don't feel like it is what makes it automatic, because it removes emotion from the equation. Once you prove to yourself that action is not tied to motivation, you unlock unstoppable momentum. Most people think freedom means doing what you want when you want. But real freedom, the kind that lasts, comes from discipline. When you're disciplined, you don't need to rely on willpower. You don't need to fear bad days or bad moods. You are not at the mercy of chaos, mood swings, or finding the time. In Stoicism, the highest good is virtue living in alignment with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. But to the Stoics, virtue wasn't something you read about. It was something you practiced daily until it became part of your nature. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This is the Stoic version of habit formation. Decide who you want to be, and then repeat the behavior until it becomes natural. They didn't rely on passion or emotional highs. They trusted in training that is intentional repetition. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded himself, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, showing up despite resistance is the path to growth. Stoicism teaches us to control what we can. Our choices, our actions, our discipline. We cannot control feelings. We cannot control outcomes, but we can control our habit one day at a time. When you commit to a single habit and repeat it no matter what you are practicing Stoicism in real time, you are training the soul not through philosophy but through daily action. And in that way, habit becomes a form of spiritual strength. Track and fix how you're wasting time. Time doesn't disappear. It gets spent moment by moment with or without awareness. And when you don't track it, you become its servant, not its master. The uncomfortable truth is this. Most people don't have a time shortage. They have a time management problem caused by distraction, autopilot behaviors, and poor boundary setting. Until you make your time visible, it controls you. Think of your time like money. If someone asked where your last $500 went and you couldn't answer, you'd realize something is wrong. The same applies to time. Tracking reveals the truth. It exposes the small leaks that add up to major losses, the just 5 minutes of scrolling that turns into an hour, the mental drift between tasks that breaks your focus, the meaningless multitasking that drains energy but produces little. You can't fix what you don't see. And most people avoid looking because the truth is uncomfortable. But only through clarity can you regain control. Reconstruct your past. 3 days. Take a notebook or digital doc and reconstruct hour by hour how you spent your last 3 days. Be brutally honest. Break it down in blocks. 600 a.m. 7:00 a.m. Instagram scrolling laid in bed. 7. Sushi's m8. 00 a.m. Breakfast replied to emails. Teamdra a.m. 9:00 a.m. Watched YouTube for inspiration. 9. Shumdrad a.m. to 12:00 p.m. Work with 3 breaks. Checking notifications. Do this for every hour you can remember. Patterns will emerge. Most people discover they waste 3 to 6 hours daily in micro distractions, task switching, or unconscious consumption. That's 21 to 42 hours a week, a full part-time job's worth of time evaporated. Identify and eliminate time. Parasites. Time parasites are the small, repeatable activities that deliver low or negative value yet consume disproportionate chunks of your day. Common examples: mindless scrolling, watching just one more video, checking the fridge out of boredom, reading updates with no intention to act, overanalyzing to avoid starting. Ask yourself, which activities in my reconstruction gave me the least return, which made me feel worse afterward? Once identified, cut ruthlessly. Your future depends on it. Design protected time zones. These are non-negotiable blocks of time reserved for high-value, distraction-free work. Like a fortress, they must be clearly defined, e.g. 8 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Environmentally supported notifications of quiet space. Mentally respected, no casual exceptions. Think of it like sacred space. This is where you move the needle, where your best energy meets your most important work. Even 2 protected hours a day is enough to radically shift your productivity, clarity, and progress. Create a time map that aligns with your goals. Once the noise is cleared, begin planning forward. Each block of time should have a job. You don't have to schedule every minute, but you do need to assign meaning to major chunks of your day. Ask, what time of day am I most mentally sharp? What drains me? When do I need rest or movement? What habits align with the life I want? Structure your day like a well-run business, focused, accountable, intentional. Audit weekly and adjust. Every Sunday or chosen day, review your time. Ask what went well? Where did I drift? What will I protect better next week? This weekly ritual compounds your progress. Each cycle brings refinement and deeper control. Remember, time management isn't about rigidity. It's about alignment. It's saying, this is my life and I choose how I spend it. When your time is managed, your mind calms. You stop chasing your tail. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You follow through. That builds trust, and from trust comes confidence. With distractions removed and time zones protected, you enter flow more often. You create instead of consume. You grow instead of react. With less mental clutter, decisions become easier. You do more with less. You stop wasting energy on guilt or indecision. This doesn't require perfection, just awareness and commitment to course correct. If you don't control time, someone else will. The modern world is not designed to protect your attention. It's designed to steal it. Every ping notification algorithm and suggested video is a bid for your hours. And when you give in moment by moment, you let strangers write your life script. But when you take control of time, you take control of your trajectory. You begin moving towards something, not just running away from busyness. Time isn't just what passes, it's what builds. Every minute you protect is an investment in your becoming. So start tracking, start cutting, start reclaiming, because time management isn't just a skill, it's survival. The Stoics held time in sacred regard. They knew it was the most precious resource, not gold, not power, but time. Seneca, in his timeless essay on the shortness of life, wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." To the Stoics, a person's wisdom was measured not by how much they knew, but by how they spent their hours. They believed that every day not lived with intention was a day stolen, not by others, but by our own negligence. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. For them, tracking time wasn't a productivity hack. It was a moral responsibility, a sign of respect for the gift of life. So when you protect your time, when you cut distractions, when you live aligned to your values, you are living Stoicism. You are practicing self-leadership, clarity and virtue minute by minute. And in doing so, you trade a life of noise for a life of meaning. Study at least 1 hour a day. If you're not deliberately learning each day, you're not growing. You're simply running loops of yesterday's thinking. 1 hour of focused study per day might sound small, but it separates those who evolve from those who remain stagnant. It compounds. Over 30 days, it rewires the mind. Over 6 months, it transforms your direction. And over a year, it can create an entirely different life. The world doesn't reward effort, it rewards relevance. And in a world changing faster than ever, staying still is falling behind. The skills that got you hired 5 years ago might not serve you tomorrow. The mindset you formed during childhood may now be limiting you. The stories you tell yourself, if never questioned, become self-imposed prisons. Learning is not a luxury. It's how you break loops, reframe thinking, and outgrow your old self. When you commit to studying for 1 hour each day, you're making a clear statement. I choose growth over comfort, direction over drift, depth over noise. To make this habit sustainable and effective, you must be intentional, not random. Choose one area of deep focus. Avoid the trap of shallow curiosity. Don't bounce between topics just to feel productive. Pick one skill, one philosophy, or one body of knowledge you deeply care about. Examples: emotional intelligence, copywriting, neuroscience, leadership, financial literacy, nutrition, a foreign language. Use the 25-5-30 method. Break your learning hour into 25 minutes of focused study, reading, listening, watching, 5 minutes of note-taking or summarization, 30 minutes of application. Learning without action is mental hoarding. If you learn about communication, go practice it in a conversation. If you learn a financial concept, check your budget. If you read about stoic calm, observe yourself the next time you're angry. Use a simple journal, spreadsheet, or app. Write what you learned, how you applied it, and what changed. The act of tracking brings focus and reflection. Make it non-negotiable. 1 hour is 4% of your day. If you can't invest 4% into becoming a better version of yourself, ask why. Cut distractions. Wake up earlier. Replace 1 hour of scrolling with 1 hour of upgrading your mind. If you can explain it clearly to someone else, you truly understand it. Share summaries, write a short blog, or simply speak it aloud. This deepens retention and transforms passive learning into active mastery. The benefit of daily learning is not just knowledge, it's the identity change. You stop seeing yourself as just an employee, just a parent, or just someone trying to get by. You begin to see yourself as a student of life, someone who adapts, evolves, and expands. This mindset makes you dangerous in the best way. It makes you anti-fragile. It makes you the kind of person who doesn't fear change, because you've trained your brain to meet it with skill, not panic. After just 1 month, you'll notice you speak with more clarity, you listen with more curiosity, you think with more sharpness, you act with more intention. This is not a productivity hack, it's a reprogramming of self. Common excuses and how to break them. I don't have time. You do, but you've given it to something else. 1 hour less of TV or idle chatter is all it takes. I don't know what to study. Start with what pains you or excites you. Are you broke? Study money. Are you anxious? Study mindfulness. Are you lost? Study philosophy. Your life is pointing to your curriculum. I forget what I read. Then stop reading passively. Take notes. Teach what you learn. I don't see results fast enough. The mind grows like muscle. It needs resistance, time, and rest. Trust the compound effect. You can lose your job, your followers, your savings, but you can't lose the skill set you've internalized. If you learn to write, you can always create value. If you learn to sell, you can always find opportunity. If you learn emotional awareness, you can navigate any relationship. If you learn focus, you can complete anything you begin. Daily learning multiplies your potential in every direction. You go from being someone who waits for change to someone who creates it. More importantly, you'll have built a new neural pathway, the habit of showing up daily for your future self. This habit spills over. You'll eat more mindfully, speak more consciously, surround yourself with better influences, and you'll realize learning is not something you find time for. It's something you build your life around. The Stoics believed that philosophy wasn't just to be read, it was to be lived. They saw every day as a school and every event as a lesson. Seneca wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." To the Stoics, wisdom was the highest form of strength. But wisdom wasn't inherited. It was earned through effort, through journaling, reflection, studying nature, and confronting one's own weaknesses. Epictetus reminded students that reading was only useful if it led to better living. Don't just say you've read books. Show that through them you've learned to think differently. For the Stoic, an unexamined day was wasted. A mind that didn't grow became rigid. And a life without study was merely existence, not excellence. By committing to 1 hour of learning a day, you honor their legacy. You declare, "I will not pass through life sleepwalking. I will meet it with eyes open, mind sharpened, and soul engaged." That is Stoicism in motion, daily, deliberate, and life-defining. True change comes from repeated action, not temporary inspiration. Real transformation doesn't come from a burst of motivation or a moving video clip. It doesn't arrive with a sudden spark. It grows silently through small actions repeated every day, especially when no one's watching. You don't need more time. You need more awareness. Awareness of where your energy goes. Awareness of what truly matters. Awareness of the difference between what feels good now and what serves you long term. Most people wait for the perfect moment. They chase motivation, but motivation fades. Discipline is what stays. Discipline is waking up early, even when you feel tired. It's choosing the hard right over the easy wrong. It's saying no to distractions and yes to progress. You don't need a dramatic overhaul. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do one thing, the right thing, and do it again tomorrow and the next day until it becomes who you are. The secret is not in the big gestures. It's in the quiet decision to keep going when no one sees, no one praises, and no one pushes you. That's where real change begins. Not from a moment of excitement, but from the steady choice to act again and again, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when you're alone. A presence we can all recognize. It's the quiet image of a person sitting at their desk, scrolling, tabs open, notifications lighting up the corners of the screen, a to-do list half written, a goal half formed, a day already slipping by, and it's not even noon. This is not a story told with names or dramatic events. It's a slow portrait of someone lost in the fog of procrastination, distraction, and vague intention. They want to change. They've said it before, many times. "I just need more time. I'll start when things settle down. I need to feel ready." But time keeps passing, and readiness never arrives. Not a grand epiphany, not a motivational scream, just a quiet pause, a moment of awareness. They realize this isn't a time problem. It's a clarity problem, a discipline problem, a choice problem. And so they choose. They don't change everything. They don't throw out their life overnight. They pick one action, just one. They do it today. Then they do it again tomorrow, and again the day after that. They still get distracted. They still have doubts. But they found something stronger than emotion. With every repeated action, the fog begins to lift. Not all at once, but steadily. Focus returns. Confidence builds. Their words begin to match their behaviors. Momentum replaces hesitation. This is not a fairy tale. There's no magical ending. But there is transformation, built one small act at a time. And this is where the audience sees themselves. Because we've all sat at that desk. We've all felt the weight of wasted days. We've all longed to break the loop, and the video whispers you can. You don't need permission. You don't need motivation. You just need to begin. The truth is, you don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need more motivation or more time or someone to come and push you. Everything you need is already here right now, in your hands, in your breath, in your ability to choose. Change doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be consistent, to take one small action again and again until it becomes who you are. And if something in this video spoke to you, if you saw even a small part of yourself in the struggle between delay and discipline, then don't just let it fade. Make it real. Start today. Then come back here and tell us in the comments, what habit are you committing to? What's the one action you're going to repeat every day? We want to hear your story. Your first step might inspire someone else to take theirs. And if this kind of content helps you, if it grounds you, motivates you, or reminds you of who you want to become, then subscribe to the channel. Because every week we're here to bring you content that doesn't just entertain, but helps you transform. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and let's build a life together, one quiet, powerful action at a time.